where are the aliens? And I think if anyone would know about aliens on Earth, it would probably be me.
I would think.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with space stuff.
Elon Musk alludes to the presence of aliens on Earth, suggesting that government authorities are actively concealing this information. The increasing difficulty in maintaining the confidentiality of extraterrestrial life becomes evident through a series of leaks that have surfaced over the past few years. He explores the Fermi paradox, questioning the scarcity of observable extraterrestrial life, despite the vast age of the universe. Musk reflects on the implications of their presence, emphasizing the rapid colonization of the galaxy by advanced civilizations.
Very confident that we were going to be visited by super intelligent aliens in, let's say, 10 years or 20 years at the most. Super intelligent.
So you think within 20 years
yes,
we'll have alien in Earth?
Well, digital superintelligence will be like an alien. But I think this is one of the great questions in physics and philosophy, is where are the aliens? Maybe they're among us, I don't know. There's this thing called like the great filters, which is sort of coming from the Fermi paradox. Fermi paradox is just where are the aliens? If the universe is really 13.8 billion years old, shouldn't there be aliens everywhere? And if not, why not? I think it was Carl Sagan who said that there appear to be there's either a lot of aliens or no aliens, and either one is equally terrifying. Meaning, if there are no aliens, then what we have here is very rare. I mean, if there are super intelligent aliens out there, they're probably already observing us. That would seem quite likely, and we just are not smart enough to realize it. But I can do some back-of-the-envelope calculations, and any advanced alien civilization that was at all interested in populating the galaxy, even without exceeding the speed of light, even if you're only moving at, say, 10 or 20% of the speed of light, you could populate the entire galaxy in, let's say, 10 million years. Maybe 20 million years max. This is nothing, in the grand scheme of things.
Musk discusses his interest in the future of humanity, shaped by sci-fi and philosophy. He emphasizes the importance of ensuring the continuity of conscious life to understand the universe and achieve enlightenment. Musk sees these pursuits as natural, long-term optimizations, driven by a sense of responsibility when he perceives a gap in collective efforts.
I think it was my interest in the future of humanity is, I guess, as a function of reading a lot of sci-fi and philosophy as a kid, and then just sort of thinking about, okay, what's important to do? Like, why do anything? What's the meaning of life? And I came to the conclusion that what we really need to do is make sure that life continues into the future, and particularly conscious life. And in doing so, we'll be better able to understand the nature of the universe and achieve greater enlightenment. Well, I don't really think of these things as all that audacious. They seem like natural things to do. It's sort of more of a long-term optimization rather than a short-term one. I just not that I think everyone should be doing these things, but someone needs to do them. So if I see that, well, somebody's not doing this and maybe I could be helpful, then I try to do something in that regard.
Elon Musk humorously reflects on his Tesla Roadster being in deep space for potential discovery by future alien races. Discussing the absence of evidence for aliens, he dismisses rumors, adding that if the military had proof, they'd declassify it for budget approval. Musk contemplates the potential non-violent or advanced nature of extraterrestrial encounters, conceding humanity's technological inferiority.
Just going to be out there in deep space for maybe millions or billions of years, who knows? Yeah, maybe discovered by some future alien race, thinking, what the heck, what were these guys doing? Did they worship this car? Why do they have a little car in the car? That'll really confuse them. This is why I call this like, this is like a great physicist, Enrico Fermi, who posed the question of like, where are the aliens? Now, a lot of people ask me, like, what about the aliens? Have you seen any evidence of aliens? I've seen no evidence of aliens. There's like advanced programs that the military has, which are classified, and they wouldn't. So, you know, if they had like some really fast missile or something, they even if somebody else in the military saw that, then they would still not tell them what it was because it's classified.
Sure.
Bro,
So-
wait, didn't they release something
But I'm
though
just
that...
telling you, like, to the best of my knowledge, I have not seen any evidence of aliens, and I think I'd know.
Why do you think? I feel like there's a narrative out there that our first interaction with aliens would be violent. Do you think that's the case?
Well, if so, I think we're in trouble, because if they were able to get here and we couldn't get there, then probably they've got much better technology than we
Oh,
do.
we're done.
Yeah, we're toast. We're at their mercy.
Celine's
It
not
seems
We're
sleeping
like-
totally
tonight.
at their mercy.
This is so interesting.
Well, it
Of
always
course.
does it not
Elon.
seem like it's always like going to be violent, one, and two, they're more advanced than us. But why can't we be?
Well, they're going to
more
be
advanced?
way more advanced, not a little bit more advanced.
But why is that?
So we'd just be totally at their mercy, because if they've got spaceships that can get from other star systems to here,
Yeah.
we don't have anything like that.
Right. That's true.
So basically, we're hopeless. Like, we would just be like children or something. You know?
Maybe we have some Area 51 though. No. Some lasers locked in there. Have you been there?
But, you know, there are.
You've
there
been to
are
Area
advanced
51?
laser weapons. I'm not been to Area 51. There are actually lots of areas, by the way. I think SpaceX technically leases Area 59 or something like that.
So they're numbered.
I think SpaceX needs to create some fucking lasers. If we
So
need
wait,
to
is there
use them.
better?
We do have space lasers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Elon, is there better areas than the 51?
Of course. What do you think? Please. We do have a lot of space lasers. We use them to communicate between the satellites. So those are just because lasers should be fully operational around the end of this year.
So were those just rumors or fake news about Eisenhower having meetings with the aliens in, like, I don't know what year?
Yeah, Eisenhower did
1960s?
not have meetings with aliens.
Yeah.
In fact, I think may have been him or there was some like Pentagon general who said, because people kept on bugging him about aliens and stuff, and he said, listen, if we had any evidence of aliens, if I had an alien, I would drag an alien body or something. I'd show you that alien body, because you know what? If I showed you that alien body, we'd get our budget approved instantly.
Musk reflects on the Fermi paradox, expressing his fascination with the absence of evidence for alien life. He highlights the potential vulnerability of human civilization, urging careful preservation and expansion of consciousness beyond Earth to avoid the metaphorical extinguishing of our existence.
I mean, I do find the whole question of aliens a very interesting one. You know, what is typically called the Fermi paradox, which is that if the universe is really as old as science seems to think it is, and where are the aliens? Have we really been around for 13.8 billion years? If so, shouldn't there be aliens all over the place? The crazy thing is, I've seen no evidence of alien technology or any alien life whatsoever, and I think I'd know. You know, SpaceX, we do a lot. I mean, I think I know. I don't think anyone knows more about space, you know, than me, or at least the space technology. But I think it's actually a troubling thing if there are no aliens as well, which is that what that actually could mean then is that sort of civilization and consciousness is like a tiny candle in a vast darkness, and a very vulnerable tiny candle that could easily get blown out. And I think we should therefore take great care with what may very well be this tiny candle in a vast darkness, and make sure that it does not go out, and that we extend the light of consciousness beyond Earth, and do everything we can to ensure that the light of consciousness does not go out. Given enough time, humanity will go extinct, because the counterpoint will be humanity will live forever, and I think that's just unlikely. So whether there will be some other form of consciousness that evolves after humanity, I hope so, but we don't know for sure.
Elon Musk discusses the potential extinction of humanity, highlighting the uncertainty of what may follow. Addressing Earth's future challenges, he notes the sun's expansion over the years, and the possibility of a mass extinction event that can happen very soon due to a combination of factors. Musk emphasizes the significance of the relatively short time frame for civilization's evolution.
Given enough time, humanity will go extinct, because the counterpoint will be humanity will live forever, and I think that's just unlikely. So whether there will be some other form of consciousness that evolves after humanity, I hope so, but we don't know for sure. It would be wise not to just assume that, if we're gone, that there'll in the future be some other form of consciousness. Maybe, maybe not. Earth's 1.5 billion years old. The sun is slowly expanding. As the sun expands, those over millions of years, the temperature on Earth will rise, and eventually the sun will engulf Earth. And everything will be incinerated. There's different schools of thought here, but things may get hot enough on Earth within maybe 500 million years where Earth may be uninhabitable. So that's sort of a combination of the various cycles of Earth, because on a very geological timescale, Earth actually has gone through snowball phases and sort of very hot phases. And if you have a very hot phase of Earth combined with the sun expanding, that could really be a mass extinction event. And one of the things, like for an Earth timing standpoint, 500 million years will only be 10% longer than Earth has existed thus far. Therefore, if consciousness or civilization had taken 10% longer to evolve, it wouldn't have evolved at all. On a large time scale, we're kind of making it just in time.
Musk discusses the declining birth rates, citing Japan as a leading example, with a negative population growth of 600,000 last year. He expresses concern that the trend may be irreversible, discussing the potential disappearance of countries and the need for planning. Musk also touches on China's changing demographics and emphasizes the importance of establishing civilizations on other planets.
The thing that tends to happen is, like, once the birth rate starts going down, it seems to accelerate in its downward trajectory. Like Japan is a leading indicator here. It's insane.
They're about to collapse.
No,
Population
like
collapse.
nutty. They lost 600,000 people last year. Like negative 600,000 last year. And Japan is like pretty close to being the most, like their life expectancy is like 85. So, like that's the only thing. That was what was keeping the population plummeting before. But now, despite having like the world's longest lifespan, they're still losing population.
Oh wow!
It's saying something.
Yeah, it is saying something.
So.
It seems to me the rate of that decline is such one that's going to be not really able to be turned around. We kind of got to plan for what we do in spite of it happening. Yeah, like.
Well, if that trend continues, Japan's just going to flat out disappear, as will most countries in the world. I'm just saying, if that trend continues, hopefully it doesn't. But if it does, this is going to be. I don't know what China's going to do. Like China's going to have like a period of time of great prosperity over like the next 10 years, and then but China's at like roughly half replacement rate. You know, they got rid of the one-child policy several years ago, then made it a two-child policy. Now it's a three-child policy.
Okay.
Birth rate unchanged. And Japan never had a one-child policy, and they still went that path. So the current trend is not good from a birth rate standpoint. I'm trying to set a good example.
Another reason why we need another civilization on another planet.
Yeah.
Elon Musk dispels the misconception of the human population being unsustainable, asserting that the planet could accommodate double the current population without compromising the environment. He emphasizes the low population density in most areas, even in seemingly populous places like Los Angeles.
The number of humans is not trending well. I think a lot of people are under the impression that, like, you know, the current number of humans is unsustainable on the planet, and this is totally untrue.
Yeah.
We could double the number of humans and be okay, and still keep the rainforests. The population density is actually very low, and most parts of the world have no people in them. So if you like fly over the country, you know, from like LA to New York or something, and you look down and say, like, what percentage of the time, if you dropped a bowling ball, would you hit someone? Even in LA, like, you think LA's got a lot of people, but you look at the actual, if you like just looked at, say, what cross-sectional area is human, like the cross-section of like, you know, you take like several blocks in LA and make the houses and cars translucent, and look at, okay, well, looking at from above, what percentage of the cross section of the area is humans? It's almost nothing. It's below 1% in LA.
Musk discusses the misconception of human population density, illustrating that all humans could fit on a single floor in New York City. He highlights the low probability of encountering humans even in bustling cities. Additionally, Musk recounts incidents of space debris re-entry, emphasizing the rarity of injuries despite debris reigning across the entire United States.
Have you ever seen that giant ball of flesh they did that if you combined every human into it? They said in New York City. You've seen it, right? The big ball of goo of like all of humans pushed into one thing. It would like sit in Central Park.
That's it?
That's it?
And like it's a little bit taller than the tallest skyscraper. It's not very big at all.
You just had like a cuboid of humans.
Cuboid of humans.
Cuboid
It's not
of
much.
on a single floor, you could fit all humans in New York City without on one floor without even having.
What do you mean on one floor?
I mean, like
Surface area.
yeah.
How thick would that human pie be?
No, it's just one human tall. I'm just saying there's no humans. It's no without stacking. If people like live in some bustling city, they think humans must be everywhere. But actually, there are very few cities. Like no place in America has the density of Manhattan. And then even if you've got like a sort of what seems like a dense city like LA, the actual cross-sectional area that's human is small, like less than 1% of the area is human. So that means that if you dropped a cannonball, that didn't bounce too much, the probability of hitting a human is extremely low.
Wow.
That's interesting.
We've had pieces from rockets in multiple nations re-enter the tanks and crash uncontrolled and not hit anybody many times.
When we had the space tragedy, like on entry, it rained debris across the entire United States, and I don't think there were any injuries at all.
Yeah.
Like the entire,
Yeah.
a lot of debris. Like they recovered most of the material from the shuttle, but and 0 people were hit, I believe.
And here's an interesting part of that is it was going not vertical. It was
Yeah.
going around the Earth, which increases the probability.
No, it's coming in from orbital, so it's going parallel, more or less parallel to the Earth's surface,
And then
and start breaking up. I believe over the U.S.
Like a crop dust.
Or at least certainly none of the parts fell in the ocean. When you're going orbital, you're going parallel to the Earth's surface. You know, roughly 25 times the speed of sound. So the shell's decelerating and breaking apart and the debris is raining down on the U.S. and no people were hit.
Elon Musk addresses the misconception of overpopulation, stating that Earth could sustain double the current population without significant harm. He emphasizes the sparseness of human density and challenges the notion of population explosion, highlighting the lowest recorded growth rate in history. Musk discusses the importance of recognizing the reality of population dynamics.
The population decline problem, I think, is possibly the biggest risk to civilization. It's certainly one of the biggest risks. First of all, I think people really need to. A lot of people think that there's too many humans on the planet and the planet can't sustain this number of humans. This is absolutely not true. We could double the population without any meaningful damage to the environment. So Earth, you can fit all the humans on Earth in the city of New York. That's the cross-sectional area of humans. They literally fit in the city of New York on one floor. You don't even need high rises. And if you're on a plane flight and you look down and you say, what percentage of the time if I were to drop a ball where that ball would hit a person? Basically 0. Even in a city like LA, which you think, oh, that's a crowded city, but so looking at it from above, what's the cross-sectional area of humans relative to the rest of the ground? And it's much less than 1% even in LA. If you're in a big city environment and you see a lot of people, you sort of, there must be, you sort of extrapolate that to everywhere. But it's actually very rare to see a concentration of humans. So humans, Earth is very sparsely populated with humans. There's not enough humans, far from being too many. And I think people are still sort of operating on the assumption that population is just growing like crazy, when in fact the opposite is occurring. And these numbers are easy to look up. I mean, they're just on the internet. So, we had the lowest birth rate in recorded history last year. I'm always banging the baby drum. I'm like, man, civilization's gonna, collapse. And
No big deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, where do you think people come from? Like, some magical fucking people factory? They gotta come from somewhere, and they take ages to grow. Now we're heading towards a situation where China is going to be probably have an economy 2 to 3 times the size of the United States,
Elon Musk discusses the historical dominance of the US as the world's largest economy, highlighting China's imminent economic surplus. It's clear that Elon is concerned about all of the power China now has and how they can potentially harm the United States.
The United States has been the world's largest economy for as long as anyone can remember. I don't think the U.S. became the largest economy, probably 120, 130 years ago. And there's nobody that old really anymore who can remember a time when the United States was not the world's biggest economy. Now we're heading towards a situation where China is going to be probably have an economy 2 to 3 times the size of the United States. And so that's just a different world. I do think there are a lot of people in the government in China who kind of grew up with China being a small economy, and maybe who feel like China was pushed around a lot. China's probably going to be ahead of that because China's been super pro EV. I don't think a lot of people know this, but China's environmental policies are way ahead of the U.S. Like their mandate for renewable energy far exceeds the U.S. I think sometimes people are under the impression that China is either dragging their feet or somehow behind the U.S. in terms of sustainable energy promotion, but they're by far the most aggressive on Earth.
Musk reflects on his recent visit to China, expressing surprise at the overwhelmingly positive reception for Tesla. Despite initial concerns, Chinese authorities showed support by modifying incentives and waiving license plate fees for imported electric vehicles, fostering a vibrant atmosphere akin to a pop concert during customer events. He anticipates exporting a significant portion of Tesla's California-manufactured cars to China, where the brand enjoys exceptional popularity.
So I actually just came back from China yesterday. In fact, I was there all week until yesterday evening. And the thing that really surprised me was how positive the reception was for Tesla. Going in there, I went in with some trepidation, thinking that there'd be concern about an American car company exporting cars to China, and that maybe there would be somewhere between indifferent to slightly hostile. But actually, I didn't encounter that at all. In fact, they were incredibly friendly and supportive, including modifying some of their programs which offer electric vehicle incentives to include imported electric cars. And they actually made that announcement. For example, Shanghai has this license plate fee that's paid normally for a gasoline car. And on the day that I arrived there, they changed it to include imported electric vehicles as having no license plate fee. So it was just really amazed at the positive reception. And among the public, Tesla is viewed super positively. It was like when I held these customer events to hand over cars, it was like a pop concert. It was just crazy. But by far the most positive reception of any place I've been. So we handed over the first Tesla vehicles, production vehicles in China this week to very excited customers. And yeah, we expect probably we'll end up exporting half or maybe a little more than half of the cars we manufacture in California to overseas. And of that number, probably half will go to China alone.
Elon Musk reflects on China's rising influence, urging a mindset shift for the world's largest nations. He emphasizes the importance of benevolent leadership, encourages positive relationships, and advocates for a collective focus on the spiritual prosperity of humanity amidst a changing global landscape.
They haven't fully appreciated the fact that China really is going to be the big kid on the block. And so, like, if you're going to be the big kid on the block, then you can really be pretty chill about things. You don't have to worry about, like, other countries are not really a threat to you if you're by far the biggest kid on the block. So I would say that's kind of an important mindset change. Hopefully that China goes through, is just you know, to think like, if you are the biggest kid, like, how would you want the biggest kid on the block to behave? And now, if you are going to be the biggest kid on the block, then wouldn't you want to behave like you would have wanted the biggest kid on the block to behave? I think that's pretty important. I mean, overall, you know, I think like Tesla has a good relationship with China, and I don't mean to endorse everything that China does, any more than I would say endorse everything the United States does, or any country. But you know, overall, I think yeah, we are headed to an interesting and different world, and I hope that we can remember that, you know, we're all human beings, and you know, let's just try to have as positive a relationship as possible, and you know, and work towards mutual prosperity of humanity as a whole.
Musk discusses the intense pace of China's electric vehicle mandate, noting a plea from Chinese car manufacturers to slow down due to challenges. He dispels the misconception about China's commitment to EVs, highlighting its aggressiveness in the industry. Musk also predicts that half of global car production will be battery electric vehicles, with nearly all cars becoming autonomous within the next decade, marking a significant transformation.
The coalition of Chinese car manufacturers just wrote the Chinese government to beg for them to slow down the mandate, because it's like too much. They need to make 8% electric vehicles, I think, like next year or in 2 years or something. They can't physically do it. So China's by far the most aggressive on electric vehicles and solar. But that's a common misperception that they're not. There's one Google search away to figure this out, by the way. It's really pretty easy. So, and then in 10 years, man, I think, yeah. So half of all production, I think, will be EV. I think almost all cars produced will be autonomous in 10 years. Almost all. It will be rare to find one that is not in 10 years. That's going to be a huge transformation.
Elon Musk anticipates a potential mild global recession, suggesting it might persist for a few years. He acknowledges uncertainties, such as geopolitical events like a conflict between China and Taiwan, which could escalate economic downturns. Musk also highlights China's looming property market challenge, with overbuilt housing units leading to a likely temporary recession in the country, despite the overall resilience and eventual recovery of the Chinese economy.
I don't think we're headed into a big recession. I'd say like maybe a mild recession, but it could be a mild recession that lasts for a couple of years, something like that, you know. But the thing that's hard to predict are, like, you know, if there's like, you know, like if there's like a war between China and Taiwan or something like that, that would send the world into a recession, you know, and you know, that's a possibility. You know, if there's some like big event, you know, but like, and there is a challenge in China right now with
Shit's scary. The Taiwan-China.
The Taiwan-China stuff is worrying.
Today was scary.
There is, independent of that, there is there's kind of a looming bust in the property market in China, where there's just been they've overbuilt apartments and buildings in general. There's just too many primary housing units in China, which seems crazy because a lot of people in China, but China has overbuilt primary housing units, and people have speculated on primary housing units, just like the U.S. did in lead up to 2008. So in the U.S. lead up to 2008, the U.S. was building primary housing units at twice the rate of household formation. So if you're making houses twice as fast as families are forming, then obviously something's got to give. And we're doing that in the U.S. for a while. And so China's been doing that as well, but even more. So that's a correction that's going to happen. But ultimately, the Chinese economy will be gigantic and is gigantic. and we'll recover from this, but there's going to be probably a temporary recession in China driven by an overallocation of resources towards construction. So, yeah.
Musk acknowledges the limitations of rooftop solar in dense cities, but suggests utilizing ground-mounted solar near Hong Kong to tap into existing power lines. He emphasizes China's vast, sparsely populated inland areas, making widespread solar power for the entire country feasible.
Yeah, I think it's true that in dense cities, rooftop solar is not going to solve the energy need. But what you can do is have ground mount solar power, let's say near Hong Kong, tapping into the existing power lines that are coming in, so you can supply Hong Kong with solar power. We just need to be coming from a land area that's not too far away. And I mean, it's worth noting, certainly, China has actually an enormous land area, much of which is hardly occupied at all. Given that the Chinese population is so concentrated along the coast, once you go inland, the population in some cases is remarkably tiny. So you could easily power all of China with solar.
All of China with solar?
Easily, yeah. Yeah, no, easy.